Recording this video Saturday 13th of October 2012. Hope you've had a good couple of days trading. I've really liked Thursday and Friday. Friday was fantastic. We had a really nice smooth trending market, good signals, good range, good volume, everything kind of coming together, which was really nice. But I actually don't want to talk about that. I'll do a video later on Friday's trades and the weekend kind of picture. In this video, it's a video I've been meaning to make for a while. I want to talk about multiple time frames and when everything comes together. Just by way of intro, I think there are kind of two ways to day trade. The first one is to trade the first hour or so of the day really hard, figure out what the direction of the trend is, and jump on board that trend with any kind of signals you get in the direction of that trend. And then, set a profit target. For me, 4 points in the E-mini kind of makes sense. Be done after that and stop trading. The second approach is to wait for setups, for time frames to kind of start to sync up and wait for the bigger picture to kind of come together and jump on board larger trending moves. Now, my personal preference has always been for the former, partly because I'm trading in places where sometimes the time zone really doesn't help. So for example, in Sydney, the US market open is 11:30 at night, and so I just want to go to bed, so trade for an hour or so, be done, and go to bed. But if you have the patience, and if the time zones or whatever kind of make sense for you, waiting for signals to sync up in multiple time frames can have its advantages. You could end up trading larger moves, fewer trades, and less time in the market, because once you jump on board a trend that's really moving, you can be in and out of your trades kind of pretty quickly. One of the disadvantages of what I do is I tend to chop in and out of trades and take a little bit kind of here and there, and I'm not sure whether a trade is kind of working out, and so I'll quickly jump out and re-enter if it kind of goes my direction. Whereas there are some traders who are much better at just sitting back, waiting for everything to kind of line up together, and then jumping on board those trades. So let's talk about that second one, because in the last couple of weeks we've had some really nice examples of those, and I want to show you two totally different setups that almost have the same kind of patterns kind of coming together, and how you trade one versus the other. So the first trade I'm going to show you here is on Monday, 1st of October 2012, so about 10 days ago. Now on Monday, on the Sunday evening, we had a whole bunch of PMI, manufacturing index numbers kind of coming out, and the market rallied really strongly overnight. This is the Sunday session into the Monday's open. And then at 9 a.m. we had the ISM manufacturing index number come out in the US, which was a good number, and we end up really kind of spiking here, and you can see all these blue professional bars spiking the market up into an uptrend above resistance here. And then we had amateurs active. These are professionals taking profits into those new highs up at 1450, and then the amateurs, unfortunately, thinking that the breakout was going to continue, trying to buy a breakout here, Rambo patterns, and getting wrong-footed. The market turns and goes the other way. Now we had a pullback level that didn't make a nice kind of pullback to end of trend. This was such a kind of hyperbolic, explosive kind of move. We just ran out of steam here. You can see a little blue professional, second blue professional up bar there that gets broken, the lows get broken, we go through the support level, we're in a downtrend. So the setup for this particular trade was waiting and waiting until we get a resistance line printing on the 4500 tick bar chart, and then when that syncs up with the other time frames. This particular retrace, so we had a really nice kind of sell down here. Blue professional bars kind of come in. Again, Rambo pattern here with the amateurs. You can see it just there underneath the flush pattern signal. The amateurs kind of getting on board, shorting at that point, thinking that it was going to continue, and no, it rallies up. But it's a really weak rally. If you can see here, we've got a bunch of amateur bars going on. We've got amateur up bars into that resistance points, amateur bars kind of all around, playing around here. But the resistance level prints on the 4500 tip bar chart, and we go into a really nice decline. And it's not until we see all these blue professionals bars come in at this end of trend signals that the professionals have really kind of out of this move, and they're in here. We know that this level is really important down here at the mid-30s. We had blue professional bars on the Friday previously, same type of level. They're kind of coming in again. And if you look at the next couple of days' activity, we played around these levels a couple of times, just testing and testing and testing until we broke into another uptrend. So that was the picture on the 4500 tip bar chart. If we go to the 1500 tip bar chart, here's the setup as well. So beginning of the day, that explosive move, We'd had exhaustion buying kind of early in the day, and this move, all those blue professional bars kind of come in, but it's actually weaker. It's bearish divergence kind of coming in, Rambo patterns again on this time frame. We kind of crack the support a little bit, come back to resistance, crack the support at this point, come up to resistance, and then we make the first leg down in this move, and you can see nice Rambo pattern here. And this move is almost like a double top coming into that pullback level on the 4500 tip bar chart. We get an exhaustion pattern here, so we've run out of volume. Rambo pattern, so amateurs are driving this. Remember, that's always unstable. When you see amateurs exhausting the volume here, that's an unstable pattern likely to turn around. The lows of those amateur bars get taken out. We come back for another little test. Bearish divergence kind of comes in, and that's at 2 o'clock on the dot when the 4500 tip bar chart also turns around. That is when this move really gets going to the downside. And we get a really nice kind of sell-off down from 45 down to 35s. 10-point move here, and there was actually a 6-point trade in there. And then looking at the 500 tip bar chart, just to see this in a little bit more kind of detail. So we've had our highs being made. We've kind of tested back up with Rambo patterns here. We've continued on the downside. Rambo patterns here, so we make an initial bottom and the market rallies from here, but initially we have exhaustion buying, then the next time we come up we have flush patterns, another Rambo pattern here, and then this is where we get a cluster of blue professional bars kind of coming in at 2 o'clock at that resistance level being printed. Far more blue professional bars through this little top here than we had seen previously here or here, and that's when the market kind of sells off. As soon as we're through 40.5 at this point here, we're in a downtrend on the 500 tip bar chart. This continues on down to pull back to end of trend after exhaustion, selling, bullish divergence kind of come in. So the beauty of this trade is that if you've got the patience to wait for that setup, when the 3 time frames come together, that's when you jump on board a trade that works out really quickly in your favor. Big kind of moves, big points available. In this particular example, we had resistance lines printed on these time frames. We knew that the trend direction had changed on the 1500 tip bar chart, which is what I'm always using for signals for change in direction. I'm looking for an exhaustion signal, then a bearish divergence signal that happened during the trading day. We'd had that. We also had kind of price confirmation. We couldn't get past these resistance lines, so we knew there was a likely change in trend happening into a downtrend. So we knew we were in a downtrend at that point. We're just waiting for this retracement where everything kind of syncs up together in order to get short on that trade there. The second example I want to show you is from Friday's activity. So let's just move to Friday's chart. Okay, here's Friday's chart, 4500 tip bar chart first of all. So last few days we've been trying to find a bottom. We've been kind of reaching down into the mid-20s, but we hadn't seen a final kind of push down on the 45-minute chart, pull back to end of trend. So that's what I was kind of looking for on Friday's activity, which we did end up getting. And so around 20, I think we've kind of reached a little bit of a temporary low. But we had consumer sentiment number comes out 8:55 in the morning. It was a really strong number. The market kind of rallies quite strongly. So pull back to end of trend from Thursday's activity on the 4500 tip bar chart. We've been moving in these wide ranges, support and resistance kind of playing in. We're looking for the next break in support or resistance into a trend move. And the market kind of tops out after that consumer sentiment number comes in and then bottoms at this 28 level where we'd kind of previously found support, and a support line prints on the 4500 tip bar chart. On the 1500 tip bar chart, which I'm using for trend direction, with that pop at 8:55 with the consumer sentiment numbers kind of come out, we had exhaustion buying. So that's a nice signal during the day. We also get bearish divergence kind of come in at that cyclical resistance. Sometimes these play out, 2/3 of the times these play out to pull back to end of trend, but 1/3 of the time they just top out at a resistance level. And that happens to be at 34 here. So we're into a downtrend. We get some testing back up, amateur up bars, amateur down bars. We also get another amateur up bar kind of sequence here. So we know the market's fairly weak, and we've just put in a flush pattern as well. So we've had exhaustion, first bearish divergence, and flushing out the buyers at that point there. And you can see a whole bunch of blue professional bars come in at 28. Now initially we have a Rambo pattern, a bit of a false breakout, and we bounce from there. But then more blue professional bars coming in at this 28 level, and we have a support level print on the 1500 tip bar chart. Then going down to the 500 tip bar chart, here's the pattern. So we've had our exhaustion buying, all these exhaustion buying signals, testing back up, flush pattern and so on, a weak test back up with a Rambo pattern here, resistance at this point. You can see buying pressure is coming off and off with all these bearish divergence signals coming right on the 0 line. And at 28, again on this time frame, on 500, we get a support line print at that point is there. So with all three time frames, we've got a support line printed at 28. So one of two things is going to happen. Either the market's going to rally, or it's going to break through that support level at 28 into a strong move. Either way, it'll be a strong move into a trend move. But because the 1500 tip bar chart has shown us that we've had exhaustion buying, bearish divergence and a flush pattern, we've run out of buyers at that point. Remember, there's only kind of two trend directions usually during a day. The window for that reversal is before 11 a.m. in the morning. We've had our exhaustion buying based on news, consumer sentiment. We're coming up into 10 a.m. so before the window closes for a change in trend, and so likely that this activity has actually been a change in trend happening. That topping out process has been amateur up bars at this point, and we got this line in the sand at 28. Now, as soon as that breaks, we're into a strong downtrend move. So on the 1500 tip bar chart, all of a sudden when it collapses through 28, bang, this thing really starts to get exciting quickly. So we go into exhaustion buying, pull back to end of trend, and then we also end the day on the lows kind of down here. On the 4500 tip bar chart, again we move through that support level, all these blue professional bars falling through the ice here. We have a pullback to end of trend kind of sequence late in the day, but we kind of close on the lows. So in the first example, we have a trend direction, and we've got multiple time frames syncing up with a pattern in the direction of that trend. It was a pullback in a downtrend, a resistance line being printed on the 4500 tip bar chart, also on the 1500 and 500. It was all resistance lines kind of printed after we had our change in trend. So we're going in the direction of the signals in order to get on board a swift trend move, continuation in the direction of trend. In this second example, the market's topped out on the 1500 tip bar chart, and we have support lines print in multiple time frames. So when that support line finally goes, it moves into a downtrend, breaking that support line. So we get a strong trending move because we've broken the support line. So this second way of trading is waiting for multiple time frames to sync up together and then taking a trade in the direction of the trend. In the first example, they're resistance lines. In the second example, it's the break of a very important support level at 28 where the move turns into a trend move. So there we go. I'm going to tag on those two trades. The first one was a nice 6-point trade. The second one was a 5-point trade. So if you've got the patience to kind of wait for those signals to come up in multiple time frames, they can be really profitable moves. So I hope you enjoyed this video and hope your trading is going well. Okay, I just got short 42.25. 42.25. Waiting for this to set up, and finally we kind of got us about it's just gone 2 p.m. Chicago time, and we have a beautiful sell-off. Caught Rambo pattern at the bottom, kind of come into exhaustion buying, bearish divergence coming in here. The reason for getting short now is we've got like a confluence happening of resistance patterns on the 500 printed up here at the 43s. We got 1500 is about to go off, and also on the 4500 is about to go off. So I think we're going to test the lows. So let's give it a go. Short 42.25. I'm going to move really quickly now. When everything kind of lines up, it starts to really accelerate. It's really slow into this 43s, but now on the way down, it's picking up speed. I'm just going to move my target to 36.25. This previous low down here is 38.25, which is 4 points away from my entry. And if it drops through, it's going to keep going. So go breaking down again. Just had this little retrace bar, blue professional up bars. All the professionals had their sell orders sitting there. Bang, there we go. Got support on the 500 tip bar chart. We're just breaking through. There's another blue professional bar. They're getting on board this thing. So hopefully we'll keep on going down. Breaking down through 38s, and blue professional bar coming on 500. So it was about 8,000 on a bit of momentum here on 15, but I think it's just going to go further until we get pulled back to end of trend. And 1440, just this kind of critical level we bounced off it a little bit, kind of earlier, but this is going to make pullback to end of trend, so just holding it. Well, there we go, the original target 38.25 just got hit. Blue professional bars kind of come in here on 15. It's going to be a little bit of a technical bounce just because people are going to buy the double bottom, but maybe not. I might just kind of keep on going. Yeah. Well, a bunch of blue professional bars on 15 and one on 4500. Right at that 38.25's the previous low here. But we've got a little bit of travel to go on the 4500 tip bar chart. We're still in the downtrend here, so I normally would have just punched out here, but I think it's going to travel some more, so let's just wait and see. Excellent. It's taken out 36.25. 4-6. Really nice, just gave way at 37 just then. Bang! Went into a rainbow pattern kind of down here. Blue professional bars. Maybe it might travel further, but that was just nice. Excellent. That's what you get when you get a confluence of patterns kind of lining up. So we had resistance here up at 44 on the 1500, 4500 tip bar chart was a pullback level. On the 1500 we had resistance level here after exhaustion, bearish divergence. Bang! Short 28 even. So sat on this knife edge and just broken the lows of that blue professional bar. I know we've had this rainbow pattern here. Initially we kind of rose above it, but kind of all the way back down, and yeah, we've got this pattern in which is change in trend. Exhaustion, bearish divergence. Every time we've come up, we've had amateur up bars here. Then blue professional bars. We're breaking the lows of those blue professional bars. They kind of came in at 29s, held it. Then, you know, this spike down blue professional bar, we're falling through the lows of this. So it's absolutely key area. So support on all these time frames. We drop through this, we're, you know, bombs away. So let's see, short 28 even. We're coming back down through 28s. Here we go. So we had these blue professional bars come in, one on the 1500 tip bar chart, breaking the lows of that. Rainbow pattern here initially, but you know, this 28 level is just so absolutely key. We've been sat on it for a while, and 45-minute charts also kind of rolled over, which I've been looking at. And you know, these have rolled over on 40,000 and 13,500. So these have rolled over, so we're breaking through support here. On 4500, targets at 24, the previous low 26.75, so we just got that. So there's going to be a bunch of stops to be run there. So I know it's rainbow patterns and flushes kind of going down here. Here we go, yeah, just giving way. So let's see. We just had exhaustion selling on 1500 tip bar chart. It was a big reading, it's minus 12,000. No blue professional bars yet, and we're still in this downtrend. Here we go, we're going 25s. I'm going to move my target out. Let's go to 23s, see if we can squeeze another point out of it. So 25.5s. Yeah, we got all these downtrends. I mean, it's got to now it's got to get pulled back end of trend on 1500, but all of a sudden this should wake everybody up. So let's see. So pro signal exit just gone off. So that's the first blue professional bar. Down here with exhaustion selling. Probably should kept my target at 24, but yes, it should accelerate. In terms of previous areas of support, we're through them. So let's hope for some continuation. Well, 24s didn't get hit. That was the initial target. We got pulled back in a downtrend coming up on 500 tip bar chart. Just got to hold out for this because here we go, bearish divergence. This should maybe kind of kick in down through 24s, hopefully to hit the target 23. I mean, it's in a super downtrend here at 500, 1500 and 45, so on the higher time frames, you know, what support, we've got a ways to travel before support kind of comes in on the higher time frames, so just got to hold out. Here we go, pullback levels in. We had exhaustion buying 12,000, big reading on better momentum. It's almost like a bit of a short covering rally there, so hopefully that's enough kind of activity to push us back through 24s. So we go pull back to dirty end of trend down here. Okay, this looks like we're coming back again. We bounced off a Rambo pattern, got another one come up, but we seem to be travelling through. That exhaustion, bearish divergence. Here we go. Blue professional bar, previous low at 24. Just looking for 23. Let's see if we get another rush down. Just taken out 23 even. Excellent for another 5. Unbelievable. And so what is that? 10.6 trades. Definitely over trading today, but yeah, happy. So good. Minus 14,000. Exhaustion selling signals coming in here. Pullback to hasn't signaled down a trend yet, but it will be. Another blue professional bar come off here. So there we go. We got it was dirty end of trend. There we go. Supports just kind of come in. Minus 16,000. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Of course. Another exhaustion pattern down here is almost at 21s. Anyway, just because of this, unbelievable. Didn't expect it. I thought we'd done enough base building here, but you know, exhaustion, buying, bearish divergence kind of coming. We had these amateur up bars, flush pattern, Rambo pattern didn't work out. Glad I reversed there, and there we go. And anyway, big day. Hope you traded well. Good Friday.